This week, I almost missed the certification that I flew to San Diego for because of food poisoning. I spent the night before curled up in a hotel room wondering if I was actually even going to make it. And somehow it ended up being one of the best weeks I've had all year. Because sometimes the biggest opportunities come disguised as really bad days. Welcome back to Heart, Health, and Hustle, where I'm documenting the pursuit of a life worth living. Last week, I shared an update from a childhood dream, which is my conditional job offer from Delta. And wow, the response was way bigger than I expected. Hundreds of messages, new followers, so many questions. Honestly, it reminded me why I love creating content in the first place. So let's jump into this week's Heart, Health, and Hustle. The coolest thing this week, I hosted my very first flight attendant Q&A live, and I was kind of nervous. I generally thought maybe a handful of people would show up. Instead, about 190 viewers on TikTok, 339 views on Facebook, 430 on Instagram, and instead of just doing 30 minutes like I was planning to do, people stayed on for over an hour with me. During the live, people asked me thoughtful questions and shared their dreams and concerns in the comments about their lifestyle changes being a flight attendant and asked me what it was like when I was a flight attendant, even though that was 5 years ago. And they're already asking when I'm going to be doing another live. So I just cast a poll on my Instagram and TikTok and Facebook just to see about possibly doing another one this coming week. Let's see. That reminded me of something. You don't have to be the world's leading expert to help somebody. Even being just one chapter ahead can be enough to look back and lend a helpful hand. I've been overwhelmed by how many aspiring and current flight attendants from different airlines have reached out to me. It brings me so much joy to be of service where I can, obviously while keeping integrity and company policy intact on social media. And if my journey helps someone pursue their dream, that's a pretty incredible feeling and exactly what my mission is here with Heart, Health, and Hustle, and sharing my journey on social media. Now, let's talk about my first pillar, health, because it threw me a serious curveball this past week. Just days after coming back from Atlanta on Monday, I flew to San Diego for a certification course for my teacher retirement business. That evening, I ended up with what I'm almost certain was food poisoning. The stomach cramps were agony. I haven't been in that much pain in years. For a while, I genuinely wondered if I was even going to be able to attend the certification course that I flew in for the next morning, let alone survive the night. And what's unfortunate is it's been a long time since I've traveled frequently like I did when I was a flight attendant. I was ill prepared and I did not have any electrolytes on me or even any medication. Thankfully, after calling my mom, who's an RN, she suggested something that I wouldn't have thought of. Don't forget, mom always knows best. Thank you, Mom. She told me to microwave a wet washcloth and use it as a hot compress on my stomach. It sounded overly simple, and a part of me was almost going to be too lazy to try it out, and I was in a lot of pain. Just even getting up to the bathroom was really challenging. But it honestly helped so much. If it wasn't for that hot washcloth, I don't know that I would have been able to get any rest that night. So thank you, Mom, for telling me that pro tip. So the next morning, I woke up around 6 a.m., still not feeling 100%. Honestly, was curious if I was going to make it to the class, but I looked myself in the mirror and I said, I didn't come all this way just to come all this way. And so after calling the Uber, making a pit stop over at CVS for Pepto-Bismol and Pedialyte, somehow I made it through the entire day. And I was actually even able to eat a little bit at the conference. Looking back, I'm really proud that I didn't just throw in the towel. I was tempted to honestly sit out the class and just try my best to sleep in, get some rest. But I was reminded that I am not a quitter, right? I had to fly in from Phoenix to San Diego to even go to the class. And so I didn't want to have made all that trouble for no reason. Resilience is not glamorous. It is often the most gritty, humbling experience and the very roots of all success, in my opinion. Winning can be as simple as just showing up anyway and not letting the enemy win. Unfortunately, the stomach issues have still been on and off, even continuing to this very moment as I record this. And so if it continues past a week, which would be tomorrow when I post this video, I am going to have to see a doctor just to see what's going on because this is crazy. I have barely been able to eat. So obviously hitting my protein goals this past week has been a challenge, let alone even just eating enough calories, which is also a little scary because I'm already in a calorie deficit. I've noticed that eating meat doesn't really seem to help. I don't know. Sometimes I'm fine, and other moments my stomach gets triggered. So I don't really know what's going on, and I am concerned. But I'm being hopeful. And even though this past week I only made it to the gym 3 times instead of 5 times, which would have been my perfect scenario goal, I am proud of myself for staying in it and not giving up. Fitness is not about having a perfect week. It's about putting one foot in front of the other and stacking those wins, even if they're small wins. It's about staying in the game, even when you're tempted to quit. I'm also pretty confident that I found the source of things, which unfortunately is that meal delivery service I was so excited about last week. Felipe even had some tummy issues as well, so that's the only thing that makes sense. Maybe it went bad in transit. But lucky him, he didn't have the stomach cramps, which I've still been getting on and off. Like, literally woke up at 2 a.m. this morning and it's Sunday. Needless to say, I had to toss those meals and I'm testing something else out. So praying that it's going to be a good fit because I do not want to go through that again. It's been a disruption to my work, my meetings, and it is horrible, the agony. Now, moving on to hustle. 3 updates on the business side. First, like I mentioned, is that I flew to San Diego for my certification, met some cool people along the way, and actually had a new client reach out to me while I was sitting in class on TikTok to set up a consult, who obviously she's now become a new client. So opportunities don't just stop because life gets inconvenient. That was a great reminder to me how important it is to be receptive to the abundance that's all around us. 2, I'm officially treating content creation as my 3rd business. Wellness, teacher retirement piece, and now obviously content creation, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, affiliate partnerships, digital products. I'm not seeing content just as marketing anymore. I'm treating it as an actual business. And beginning in August, I'm excited to start oversharing my finances on monthly updates with my revenue across all 3 ventures. I want to show the reality of entrepreneurship and continue to do my best to take you behind the curtain where appropriate. Let's cover the wins, the setbacks, the pivots, the messy middle. If there's one lesson this week that's been reinforced for me, it's this. You don't build confidence when everything goes right. You build confidence by discovering you can handle things even when they go wrong. Whether that's food poisoning, building a new business, changing careers in your mid-30s, or chasing an almost forgotten childhood dream, life is always going to throw curveballs because that's its job. The question isn't whether you'll face adversity. It's how you will respond when it happens. Drop a note in the comments if that resonates with you. And also let me know what's the setback that ended up teaching you something valuable in your life. If you've been enjoying these weekly recaps, I'd love to have you subscribe, build the community with me. Anyways, guys, make it a great day. Keep pursuing your heart, your health, and your hustle, because that is how we build a life worth living. See you next week.